It's just writing, like all those algorithms and the logic behind all the things moving on the screens. This is what I did, yeah.
You're doing all these things, but are you still finding your joy and your purpose?
So that's interesting because I would say that time, my life was really great. I had this job and I had 2 children by the time, and I was doing this exciting project, and I managed to work for several years. But after several years, I started feeling this kind of overwhelm and burnout because first those projects were exciting, but after several years, they were in a way very similar because it's always news, things happening quickly. It's always some kind of disaster or event, and you have to deliver for this particular thing. So I decided to quit, and I was feeling like losing that time because you're losing your monthly salary, protection, security. You're kind of losing everything. So
What did your husband say?
So we had 2 small children that time. He was very supporting when I was working in Sky News. He was always proud of what I'm doing and what I'm achieving there. But when I wanted to quit, he kind of he also said, "Well, you have to change something because I know you. Once you got those feelings, that it's over. It's nothing gonna stop you. So I will definitely support you." So he was very supportive. Actually, I'm really grateful.
What did you wind up doing? Like, how did you depart from it?
I remember my last conversation with my boss when I was leaving, and he said something like, "Okay, good luck, and very difficult times in front of you because you're leaving this great job and you're never probably gonna get anything similar and all of that." And at first, it seems that he was right because I did have a few years which I was mostly looking after my kids. I find it quite overwhelming because it's a lot of work, obviously, but I'm grateful for that because I get spend time with them. But I always wanted to be creative overall, deep down. That's why I started with art at the first place. So at the side, whenever I could, I started writing this story. You mentioned before Gold Blue Dusts, and I developed the story. I developed those 3 characters. And
So let's hold up for a minute. Keep the viewers on track here. So during this transformation of leaving the news, Sky News Television, you wind up creating something called Gold Blue Dust Project, a story of 3 individuals going through the woods, but all of a sudden you encode them with some type of AI. Did I get it right?
yeah, so basically, first I developed the story. Then I've done the graphic of everything myself. So I literally drew all these characters. Then I thought, no, this is quite boring. So why don't I just make them move? So I started working on those animations to make them move. That's the part when partially now we can use AI to make them move. So for instance, they could speak. So, AI is very good in reading the sound wave, and it can give you, you could read the sound wave and give you the set of characters. And then I can connect every characters with different pictures, and then you go mouth speaking in a character. So this sort of thing. So I spent some time developing those animations, and now I've got those characters which can move and speak. And I connected that with that story I wrote earlier. And I'm producing these short videos where I can have conversation with them. It's all about that story. So in the background, I'm telling that story I wrote, but I want to touch a little bit bigger problems and like sort of problems